Good evening. We will have prayer tonight led by Councilman Walls. And I am going to ask Councilman Flores to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
For those that please do please bow your head, please. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Oh God, please guide this city council to do the right thing for the citizens of the city of Saginaw. And Lord, please guide and make sure that the steps that all our service people in the community, the police, the fire, and please keep an eye over the staff that guides this city and help us do the right thing for the city. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Sylvia.
Present.
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Councilmember Balls.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Bench.
Present.
Councilmember Ostache.
Present.
Councilmember Garcia.
Present.
Councilmember Flores.
Present.
Councilmember Copeland.
Present.
Mayor Moore.
Present.
9 members present, 0 absent, Mayor.
Thank you. This is a public meeting of the City Council. Audience, we ask you to remain from clapping, booing, and any obnoxious behavior. Right now, all council members, please put your phones on vibrate and your computer as well. Audience, I ask that you do the same for respect and courtesy of those that may be speaking. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have some announcements this evening. I want to remind everyone that City Hall will be closed Monday, September 4th for the Labor Day holiday. Any reminder for the week of the Labor Day holiday, September 4th, your trash, yard waste, and recycling pickup will be one day after your regular pickup day. The city's waste convenience station is open the second Saturday of the month. It will be open Saturday, September 9th, from 8 o'clock a.m. till 12 noon. City residents can drop off items not collected at your curbside. And then the next regular meeting of City Council will be Monday, September 11th at 6:30 p.m. So you got a little bit of a break there. I want to remind you of that. And Mayor, that takes us into public input.
Speakers, you remain courteous and respectful. When approaching, staff may follow up with, staff will do the follow-up concerns. You will not get answered on your questions that you may have. This is not a question and answer period. The clerk will call you up to the podium. You have 3 minutes to speak, which is timed by the clerk. You see, we got the big clock over there now. When your 3 minutes are up, you may take a couple seconds to wrap up what you need to talk about. Council is not allowed for any rebuttal. No one should be directing any comments to any council member. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Our first speaker tonight is Cornethia Harvey. Don't see her. Clint Bryant Jr., or Senior, I'm sorry. Clint Bryant Senior. Do not see him. Evelyn McGovern.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Again, my name is Evelyn McGovern, and I want to say greetings from Women of Colors to City Council, City Clerk, City Manager, and the residents of the City of Saginaw. I'm also a resident, and I am a faithful founder and member of Women of Colors for 30 years, uninterrupted services, and I just want to thank you for approving the $200,000 ARPA fund in February of this year. I want to thank you for allowing Women of Colors to receive that funding. Also, we have been working with Guidehouse to be in compliance, and we are. We're happy about that. So originally, we applied for $383,805. And of that, you approved the $200,000. And I'm back today to ask that you consider the balance of $183,835. So I just hope that when you're doing the reallocations, hopefully, I'm not sure when that would be, that you don't forget women of colors. And I also I shared some information with you about some of the events that we've had, that we're having. And one of them I want to mention that we had on May 28th, called the Family Car, in which we organized, planned, and sponsored at the Temple Theater. And we had over 1,000 people in attendance. And it was about grief and mental health. And so we're very proud of this event. And I just wanted to bring awareness to you about that. These are the type of things we want to continue to do in our community. Also, you have a flyer about time to have a conversation, and we will be this Friday streaming live on WTLZ KISS 107, also on Women of Color's Facebook page. But we'll be streaming live on the radio station. So if you're not busy at 7 o'clock p.m., check us out. We'll be talking about family and health matters, mind, body, and soul at 7 o'clock p.m. You also have a flyer called Stronger Together. And Stronger Together is an addiction support group. And it's to support the family and friends of loved ones that's addicted. And we meet the first and third Tuesday every month at the Success Academy at 6:30 p.m. So if you know of anyone that's in need of these services, we're here. Warm a Child for Winter, we've been doing this for several years, and last year we gave away over 500 coats, and hopefully we can do the same this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Christy Phillips.
Hello, good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Okay, my name is Christy Phillips, and I am the program coordinator for Women of Colors. And for all of those that don't know, we are a nonprofit organization located within the city of Saginaw, and our office is located 1000 Tuscola Street. And we have been in existence for over 30 years doing community service work. We have monthly forums, scholarship awards, prevention services, life skills training, our annual coat drive, and a monthly addiction support group. And we do this for men, women, children, and families alike. And we also promote and partner with local agencies to address numerous mental health issues. And we, as Evelyn said, we were a proud sponsor of the Family Car, that play that dealt with a lot about mental health. And I'm pleased to say I was the stage manager for that play. And it was written by Gleisha Wright Tatum along with Tawny Gray and Ariel Pompey. And it was an awesome community event that dealt with mental health, and Women of Colors is also an advocate for mental health awareness. And we are very proud to have received the ARPA funds. And however, it was a great deal less than what we originally requested. I am before you today to ask if there are additional funds available. When those are reallocated, would you please consider increasing our ARPA award amount so we can further enhance our agency's ability to continue our services in the community? And these funds are really needed greatly because the needs have increased. We receive calls every day for program outreach and things that we just don't have the capacity right now to even fulfill, but the need is increased and our funding needs have increased. So please consider Women of Colors when you do your reallocation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Angie Miller.
Good evening. My name is Angie Miller. I'm the president of the Mid-Michigan Area Labor Council. I stand before you to give you an update on what we've been up to. On July 25th, the Mid-Michigan Area Labor Council, along with their affiliates and community partners, the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan and the United Way of Saginaw County, held a food distribution. And I want to thank everyone who told someone about the food distribution, everyone who showed up to the food distribution and those volunteers. It was a great success. It was supposed to start at 10 o'clock, but we were ready and there were lots of cars lined up. So we started that food distribution at 9:30 and all the food was given away by 11 o'clock. So we were definitely able to help a lot of people out in the community. So thank everyone for that. Towards the beginning of August, we packed up 200 backpacks in about an hour to get those out into the community. So those went to the Underground Railroad, Mustard Seed Shelter, Youth Protection Council, and the Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan. So thank you again to all of our volunteers that helped package up those backpacks. Lastly, on Tuesday, August 29th, from 5 to 7:30, we will be down at the Saginaw Art Museum for our 3rd annual celebration, our Labor Day celebration. And I'd like to invite all of you and those in the community. This is a time when we celebrate labor, we celebrate their contributions to keeping America running. So we will have a tent, we will have live music, there'll be games, fresh Kogels, of course, which we know the mayor likes, and games and door prizes. So I invite all of you, and I hope you'll attend. Thank you.
Thank you. You ain't have to say that.
Our next speaker is Kenyatta Pryor.
Hello, City Council. I am Kenyatta Pryor, the wife of Pastor Chris Pryor, Victorious Believers Ministries. He was scheduled to be here, but because of a scheduling conflict, I am here on his behalf. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and the entire City Council, I would like to commend you for all, and all of the board for the work that you are doing in the community. We've had a very busy and good summer with lots of great community activities and events that kept the community engaged, knowledgeable while having fun. We are a great community. My other focus is to make sure the other side of Saginaw is not forgotten about when it comes to business and development. I know we are excited about the Memorial Cup that is coming to Saginaw and the redevelopment of certain areas in our community. Let's not forget the Genesee Corridor, which historically was a vibrant quadrant. I have discussed my concerns about marijuana dispensaries to our city as the economic development when the result is producing a population of people who are and can be disqualified from earning meaningful employment. When we speak of smoking weed and what was once illegal and frowned upon, it is now celebrated and accepted. It used to be embarrassing to a child for their parent to show up to school in a drug-induced state, but is quickly becoming the norm. We have a number of students who are going to school and smelling like marijuana, not just because of their parents, but because of the environment and community that we as leaders are creating for the future leaders of our city. What looks like short-term success is now going to cause the community long-term heartache tomorrow. Let's not sell our children short for a quick dollar. I was hurt and disturbed by after being asked to facilitate a funeral of one of our youth in the community who passed away. I was surrounded by young people in cars smoking weed. We banned smoking in public places to protect the health of our neighbors. Our children deserve the same choice. We are not destitute and not desperate. We are deserving and developing as a community. We need to seek and embrace opportunities that would help us as a whole. I drive around this community praying and knowing we will have great success, but saying yes to programs like this is a hindrance to our community. We have extremely beautiful areas along Hoyt and Ojibwe Island area, the YMCA, the zoo, Old Town, just to name a few. Let's continue to develop the surrounding areas. I'm a part of several groups, Higher Purpose, which the initiative is to restore neighborhoods along the Genesee Corridor and help people with home ownership. I am also working to support the grocery store to service the south and east side of the community of Saginaw. My ask is not to forget the growth and development in order to see that the city at large sees economic development. I believe with us working together, we can accomplish great things in our great city of Saginaw. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Our final speaker tonight is Keisha Smith.
Good evening, council members. My name is Keisha Smith. I am the SEDC coordinator for the city of Saginaw. I'm here to tell you a little bit about SEDC, what we do. So SEDC stands for the Saginaw Economic Development Corporation. And what we do is we provide commercial lending to small businesses located in the city of Saginaw. We have two programs that we run year-round, which is our micro and our macro loans. So if you know of anyone with a small business who is looking to start their business or looking to develop their business or looking to take their business to the next level, please let them know about SEDC. Also, this year we celebrate our 10th year for our Small Business Expo. For SEDC, our theme this year is Taste of Saginaw. It's August the 31st at the SVRC Outdoor Market Pavilion area, and it's going to be from 4 to 8. We're going to have plenty of activities. We have live band entertainment. We have Miss Teresa Marshall, who will be teaching some hustles that day. We have a couple poets. We'll have some SEDC testimonials. We'll also have a mural being painted on Water Street that day. So Water Street will be closed, a portion of it. And then we have kid activities. We'll have face painting. Just looking for the support of our council members as well as our community to come out, support, bring your tents, have a good time. It's free to the community. We'll have food trucks all up and down Water Street. Our vendors will be underneath the pavilion area at the SVRC Outdoor Market Pavilion. So please mark your calendars. Again, it's August the 31st from 4 to 8. And it's going to be a great time. Bring your chairs, bring your lawn chairs, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we are now at council remarks.
Council members, you have 3 minutes as well. We will begin tonight with Councilman Williams.
Okay, good evening. Thank you, Mayor. Keep this short. I would like to say first thank you to our public speakers who came out tonight. Secondly, I want to say that I'm really proud of our city this summer. It's been, I would like to say, it's been a relatively quiet summer. We still have our situations, our incidents that have occurred, but it hasn't been a normal summer that we've become accustomed to from the past. So thank you to the city for that, and especially with all of the events that have been going on and the attendance. The last one was the Motown Friday Night Live, which was attended greatly, which was really nice to see, really, really nice to see. Lastly, Clerk Santos, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. You have, for me, I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate the job that you have done. You are a true professional and a wealth of knowledge, and I'll miss you. I'll miss you. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Why you do that now, Joker?
I'm sorry.
Look at her.
My turn.
Look at her. Next we have Councilman Balls.
Lady always got jokes. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
The clock just started.
I too would like to thank you for all that you have done too. Janet, you've been definitely a professional and taskmaster too, and we thank you for that too, for keeping us in line. So thank you so much. I'm thinking about the person gonna be stepping in your shoes, and I hope you got little feet because they're gonna have a lot of work to do. So we're looking forward to that too. But I'd like to thank the speakers for coming and speaking, the women of color. I want to thank you for all the things that you guys have been doing in the community. I know you do a lot of stuff to help out our children and other people. So I really want to thank you for what y'all do in the community. Thank you, and keep up the good work. You know, there's a lot of people that do a lot of things in the city of Saginaw. I know a lot of people here is on other boards and they help out in the community. You know, some of us, we have 8-hour jobs, then we got families, and then we still give in our community. Then we had to come to the city council meetings and do this. You know, so we got a heart of giving. And that's one thing about the city of Saginaw that I like. We have a lot of people that want to give. But the main thing I hope that we can do is that we got to find a way to employ these kids that's getting out of high school, to keep them in Saginaw. We got to find a way to employ and get the ones that's getting out of jail, get them back into society, start doing the right thing. I'm hoping, I'm talking to a few people, and maybe with some, when we reallocate this money, that maybe we can help do something along those lines to help out the people that's returning from incarceration, so they can get back with their families and start doing the right things. You know, I don't have no problem with people passing out stuff to the kids and to the families. You don't see no lot of fathers standing in line collecting that stuff, you know, because they're not around. I would love to see the fathers taking care of their own kids and being employed so they can buy their kids stuff instead of the parents or the ladies standing in line, you know, taking the handouts all the time. I mean, it's a beautiful thing that we can get it, but the kids need to see fathers working and doing the right thing for their families so they can start doing it themselves. You know, I know that it works when the kids have fathers at home. You know, I think about my son sometime, you know, being a pipe fitter. After I was being a pipe fitter, you know, who would have never known that this kid would grow up and be a master plumber? You know, now he has his own business and living in a big house and working for Chrysler too. So I know that association brings about assimilation. So we need to start having the people in the community start assimilating good things. And I think we can help out with some of that ARPA money, maybe to help out those programs. So thank you so much, Madam Mayor. Thank you again, Dennis, for all you have done for the city of Saginaw.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Ostash.
Thanks, Mayor. Welcome, everybody, tonight to the chamber, and for everybody that's watching from home. Thank you for all of our speakers that came out tonight, women of color, for what you do for the city and your programming. I know there's a lot that you do, so thank you again for coming out and sharing some of that with us. Angie, it's always good to get a labor update. Normally, I'm out of town on Labor Day, but thanks for the invite. If something happens and I'm in town, I'll definitely stop by. I, too, want to just kind of reiterate what my colleagues are saying about Clerk Santos. And just before the council, I was on commissions, and we had worked together. So congratulations on your retirement, and I hope you have a lot of fun in your permanent vacation. Also, too, I was at a recent meeting, I can't remember which one it was, but the fire department was talking about anybody that wants to be a firefighter. So they are kind of making it easy for you if you want to. You can go right onto our website, and if you go into the departments tab, under the community public safety, then fire, and then become a firefighter option, you can click on there to get information. They'll put you on a list, and they'll grab your email address, and they'll keep you updated as well. And I think there's a scan code somewhere along the way they talked about, but yeah, so if you want to do that, that's on our website. Come work for the city of Saginaw and serve. I do want to take a moment to talk about a passing in the city that happened last week. Steve West Jr. passed away, and him and his partner owned the Savoy Restaurant, which during COVID was not able to survive. The Savoy Restaurant was more than just it was another family restaurant, like a lot of the family-owned restaurants that we have on the east side and throughout the city. But it was a place where it went beyond the restaurant. And if there were people that were coming into the Underground Railroad or different things, or even to the Mission in my neighborhood, that there was a place that they could go to get a free meal. The guys were always taking care of everybody. So I just want to give my condolences to Steve, his family, and his partner that are grieving. On a lighter note, Lawn Chair Film Festival is wrapping up this weekend in Old Town, so the movies start at dusk, and this weekend will be a great family event. It's Lilo and Stitch. Keisha, I want to talk a little bit about the Saginaw Business Expo because you kind of mentioned it, so I'm going to just kind of hold this up here so we can capture that on the cameras. I have went before, and I plan on coming out, so thanks for bringing that and talking about that tonight as well. Mayor, that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilwoman Garcia.
Good evening, concerned citizens of the community. Thank you for all our public input and for being here on this lovely evening with us. Now that the fall weather's almost here, so it's good just to be inside so you don't have to be out there in that hot weather. Just want to say to Ms. Santos as well, it's been a pleasure working with you for probably just a little over a year, and you've been really great in the process of me being on council, and whoever's shoes, you got to feel, I mean, they're going to have to go high with you because you know your stuff very well. And you're very efficient with it. So congratulations on your upcoming retirement. And like I said, you can always come see us every other Monday night and hang out with us. Bring some popcorn or something maybe. And then also, I'd like to just say, happy first day of school. I've been seeing all of my friends and the pictures, and just a blessing, bless those this year in school, you know, it's always a lot of bullying and that can happen, you know, so hopefully just pray that everybody's successful, we get through it smoothly. There still are some backpack giveaways. Tomorrow at the New Beginning Ministries, Pastor Delgado's, they're hosting it, from 4 to 6 tomorrow. They will be having free food, free ice cream for kids, so I guess not the adults, as well as Bibles, coats, and socks. The children must be in attendance. And then also, I sit on the board with Christmas with Angels, and out of all the years I've been saying, let's do backpack giveaways, they're doing it this weekend. I'm gonna be in Chicago, so go support them. It'll be at the Greater Dimension, 5545 McCarty in Saginaw, this Saturday from 1 to 6, and they're gonna have bounce houses, food trucks, face painting, and family fun, so if you get an opportunity, go out to that. And then just a proud grandma moment, my grandson started walking this weekend, he's 10 months old, so, yeah, I'm gonna have to get him maybe a little helmet so he doesn't bump into things and have all these bruises, but, yeah, so he's a walker now, we got a little walker on our hands, you know, gotta child-proof the whole house. So with that saying, I mean, just have a rest, good night, it's always about having a good time. Laughter's the best medicine, right? So, thank you, God bless, and have a good night.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, for everybody going back to school this week and next week, keep on it. I know it's kind of a bummer. This summer went by pretty quickly, but we have to continue on with our education. I wouldn't be anywhere where I am now without it. I remember when Dr. Gavin came from Delta that we have a really low graduation rate for Delta College, and then somewhat for Saginaw Valley as well. So please just keep on with it, do your best, and move forward. And then no bullying, like Councilwoman Garcia had said. And then for the women of color, Ms. McGovern and Ms. Phillips, thank you so much for coming and letting us know about all that you've been doing and all that you continue to do. Actually, it's kind of melancholy for me a little bit because I just got back from vacation. I think I brought my Florida tan with me a little bit, but I'd gone to, right? I'm looking a little tan. But I'd gone to Louisville, Birmingham, Pensacola. I was in Bowling Green this morning, and then I wanted to make sure to make it back for the meeting. So I've been around. But one of the things that I had the privilege of seeing in Pensacola is that the ARPA dollars were being spent. And they did a freeze similar to what we had done for a couple months for review, which was important for them, their city council. But their reprogram, similar to what Councilmember Balls was talking about reentry, homelessness, they'd spent $370,000 on that. So again, there's a lot of cities that have been changed by what ARPA's been doing. Thank you, Women of Color, for being part of that fight to change what's wrong with the city. And to Clerk Santos, thank you so much for everything that you've done. You are always going to be part of a memory of me coming in here. I'm not sure what type of clock the other clerk's going to be bringing, but hopefully it will be a little bit smaller. And then, again, for Labor Day, I'm going to be out in Detroit, but thank you for the labor report. And that's it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilman Copeland.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you to our public speakers. As my colleagues have said, we've had some great events, and I think for me, this is more so now my expectation. So I don't say it with surprise, saying, oh my goodness, we had a really good, safe event. Right. That's my expectation, that as the city of Saginaw, we are a safe, empowering community. So it is not out of the norm for us to have great events. And I think where we've been moving towards that is the future. So the art fair was amazing. The African Cultural Festival was amazing. The kickball competition, I was able to watch videos. It was a great opportunity. And what I did, I want to say welcome to our incoming SVSU students. I have been on campus for the past 2 weeks, assisting students in their transition from high school to college. And what I did this year, I brought my students to the events in the city of Saginaw. because not only are they in Coxfield, they need to know the city of Saginaw. And the amazement that my students had just going to the SVRC building, there's a jelly ball place downtown Saginaw. Instead of paintball, it was these water orbs. I'm hurting a little bit from getting shot up. I think my students got me, but it was a great opportunity. And I smiled the whole time because it was the intentionality of changing the narrative of Saginaw. And so I want to say welcome again to all of our incoming freshman students. You are welcome here in the city of Saginaw. This weekend at Victorious Believers, there's a back-to-school rally that starts at 12 p.m., encouraging all those to be a part. And then finally, I want to say thank you, Clerk Santos, for your support, your loving correction. I'm going to miss having you looking at you and say, am I doing it right? You've been an amazing coach, and I want to say thank you again for your service to our community. Thank you.
Next, we have Councilwoman Sylvia.
Thank you very much. Can I have his minute? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for our speakers, and I also like to say thank you all in the audience for coming to the city council today to observe what we do and what we don't do. And maybe some of your comments will help make us better. And I can take it. If you have something to say, Monique, do it this way, I'll think about it, but I will take it in consideration. Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to say that this coming Friday is Let the Youth Speak. I know you've probably heard about it. If you haven't, I'm saying it today. It is where our youth come together and speak. I'm asking all elected officials, I'm asking all clergy and community leaders to be there. A lot of times we often say, well, what do they want? Well, what do they need? Well, why did they do this? Come out and listen, 40 and under. If you're over 40, you won't get the mic unless you snatch it from me. But that's who we want to hear from. They're tired of hearing from us, and that's all right, and I can understand that. Tired of being a dictator, they want to tell us. So this will give them that platform this Friday at 3 p.m. at Bliss Park. Also, this is also a job fair. Many entities will be there. Also, it's a continuing education. And one thing I didn't know I finally got secured is we're going to have information for exchange students. Let me give you a little information about that. When I spoke with the young lady about exchange students, she said that it's usually pots of money every year for people of color that do not get spent. We want to help them spend those dollars for scholarships for children of color. You don't want to miss what's in store this Friday. As city clerk, I'm definitely going to miss you. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. I know you probably won't be coming back every 2 weeks. But thank you so much for your service. Everyone have a blessed day.
Next, we have Mayor Pro Tem Bitch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good evening to everyone. Thank you very much to our public speakers, Evelyn and Women of Colors. Thank you so much for just the continued work that you do, that you were already doing in the community. But I think every time you come before us, I learn of another service or event or different type of outreach that you guys are doing, particularly the Stronger Together Family and Friends Addiction Support Group. Sadly, I know so many people who could benefit from that, and I just want to say thank you. Based on my own personal experiences with people in my life, thank you for all that you were doing and making sure that you bring it to the city's attention. So thank you for that. To Ms. Miller, thank you so much as well for not only providing the update, but to all of the union members that work so hard, consistently work so hard, always doing backpack giveaways and food giveaways. And we always know if there's a need in the community that you guys are hosting something at some point that we can count on and is reliable. And there are so many people who need the food. Obviously, if it's gone in an hour, that's wonderful that we're helping that many people, but it's just sad that there's that many people in need. And to Ms. Keisha and her team, definitely thank you for all the work you guys are putting in. I happened to attend one of the early on planning meetings, and I'm in no way, shape, or form have been very helpful, but I was able to attend and see what they were doing, and I've just been privy to all the work that they've put into the Small Business Expo, and that's just something that word of mouth, if we can share with people, because we have folks here talking about developing the Genesee Corridor. Obviously, we've got buildings over there that need to be, salvaged and saved, or, split places to build new, and our SEDC is one of those resources that can help facilitate that kind of development. So just very appreciative to the work that they're putting in there. I also wanted to say, great job to Chucky Lawrence. I could not believe how packed Hoyt Park was, all the vendors, all the people, and it was just one of the most organic, beautiful things. And I had somebody stop me there and say to me that we need to find ways to support those organic things. It's not always about putting something on and getting people to turn out. Sometimes it's just finding what the people want to do. And in my last 30 seconds, if we have to do this now, Ms. Janet.
Don't start crying.
I can do it under management update and cry then, but I just want to say thank you so much for just being the wonderful person that you are, and you've taught me so much, and it has just been a blessing working with you, and you are going to be missed. But we know that you're leaving your office in very good hands, and you deserve all of the wonderful fun that you can have in retirement, so I can't be too sad, but I am very sad to lose you. And that's all.
And the buzzard rings.
Ready?
Good evening. Last but not least, the city of Saginaw has, in the last 3 months, had activities every weekend. I've attended all of the Friday Night Live, even in the rain. We attended. However, when I hear people say there's nothing to do, this weekend was pretty busy. Weekend before was pretty busy. And we still have some stuff that's coming up, even when the weather gets cold. Hoyt Park will be open back up with ice skating. So I encourage you all to get your skates together and your sleds, and let's go tobogganing together. So if I get hurt, you get hurt too. And it's just so much. I mean, weekend before last, we had Black Ice Festival, and there was like 90 things going on, and I'm trying to make it to all of them, and I'm like, can't do it. So we do have a lot of things going on. But our public speakers, I'm always encouraged, because if you don't talk, we don't know. Ms. Miller, yes, I eat Kogo hot dogs. Let me put that on record. I don't eat BQ, I eat Kogos. I've tried the other ones, and they just don't agree with me. The Business Expo, I'm encouraging everybody, especially small business owners. This is a way for talent to start looking at what's happening next year with the British Cup, okay? There's funds available. We need to utilize those. Ms. Santos, it wasn't pre-planned, trust me. We just had a little conversation, and everybody wanted to let you know that we truly love you, and we are going to miss you. Chris, you got big shoes to fill, honey. Although it's not goodbye, it's see you later. Because she will be around, and I'm in Bay City a lot, so I know I'll run into her somewhere. Citizens, I need you. I got 40 seconds. I just want everybody to understand, going back to school is going to be really important for our children. We need to watch out for them, and we need to teach them. Just say no. Danger, danger, just say no. Those are things that we were taught when we came up. We knew. Don't go to no strange cars. Don't do that. We need to take our own road and begin to have children know. It's danger, danger. It's okay. It's okay to scream it. Because then at least you let people know that somebody may be trying to get you. So I wish all of the citizens and all of the children are safe. Back to school. Yesterday I gave out 456 book bags to my children. Yay! Thank you so much. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, we are now at reports from the manager.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you. So you may have heard that tonight is Janet's last meeting as city clerk.
He did take his thunder.
She's, her last day with the city will be August 31st. She's been with the city since April 2012, when she was appointed city clerk. And if you've worked with Janet, then you know that she's very serious about improving our election process and getting those results out as quickly as possible. So they've made a lot of changes in the office there with technology and processes. And also anytime, I know a number of you have asked her to assist with voter registration, voter information. So anytime she's been asked, she's always gone out and given those presentations. So we're thankful for that. And as several have said, we're going to miss her, but I know she does have a lot of plans already for what she's going to be doing after she's done working with the city. And also, since we are good stewards of public funds, you're going to be seeing that big clock for a long time. So you can't take it with you, Janet. I did meet with the Ontario Agent General from the Ontario Trade and Investment Office to discuss issues involving the city and our region. The state of Michigan and the province of Ontario entered into a memorandum of understanding with an interest in furthering trade and investment between the two entities. Mr. Provost has an interest in our region and has been visiting several. He would like to help us set up a sister city in Ontario, Canada, with the goal of announcing that agreement during the Memorial Cup next year. So SVSU will continue to help us with that, and we would like to have a few council members involved in setting that up, as well as a community group. So council members who are interested in that, reach out to me the next week or so, and we can start moving on that. And we've been working with John Kaczynski from SVSU on that project. I think it's a good opportunity for us. Bay City does have a sister city in Ontario, and the proximity will allow us to have more exchanges than we currently have with our other sister cities, which are great international opportunities, but our interactions are rare, and we could do something with the councils and our school exchanges. We could do that on a regular basis if it's an Ontario city, and we're trying to set that up with a city who's similarly situated with Saginaw, maybe with healthcare focus and industrial city. So we'll have more on that, and as I said, if council members are interested, please contact me to work on that. The topic of the Memorial Cup did come up during that meeting as well, and I met with the Saginaw Spirit right after that. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to have these improvements made in the city that we're talking about, but those will be long-lasting. So it will continue to give us assets for the future for when we want to have other events. So I think this is a great opportunity for us. He did tell me that depending on where the Western Conference and the other teams are from, we could have thousands and thousands of Canadians coming to the city. So Saginaw is going to be on the international stage, so that is exciting. And we also, the Mayor Pro Tem and I did meet with Representative O'Neill and Senator McDonald-Rivette. That was a good opportunity for us to communicate some issues that we have here in the city. We plan to continue to have those meetings on a quarterly basis, so if there are items that you want us to bring to the table, let us know. They're going to be having their budget process come up, so it's a good opportunity for us to put things out there that we need, whatever they may be. So always feel free to reach out and give us ideas for that as well. And now we had a request from MDOT to update City Council on a project that they are planning here in our region and in the city. So we have Jay Rethel from MDOT here. He's a Bay Region planner, and also the division manager is here. So with that, we'll turn it over to them.
Thank you. Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Glad to be here tonight, and thanks for the opportunity to discuss our study that was conducted for M46. We started this back in 2021, I believe, and we're just concluding it. Let me temper expectations right off the bat. that this is a study, a planning study, but we do not have funds identified currently to a reconstruct project out there, but we are pursuing those. So just wanted to put that out there out front for everyone. So tonight, we want to discuss what we've done with the study, quick overview, keep it very brief. And with that, I think I'd hand that right off to Dave Hayes with me from DLZ to present the findings, and then we'll take any questions at the end. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Jay. Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Appreciate this opportunity to present this to you tonight. So again, I'm David Hay with DLZ. We're a consulting firm, and we were hired by MDOT to perform this study. So with that, brief agenda here. I'll go over quickly the study area, the project purpose and expectations, summary of the input we gathered through the study period, go over the existing conditions of the corridor, and then highlights of some of the recommendations that we came to. And then with those, kind of go over the level of service and the travel time summary of those recommendations. And then at the end, we can hopefully have some time for a quick Q&A as well. So here's a map of the study area. Starting on the east end, we started at Outer Drive in Buena Vista Township, and then headed west all the way through the city, and then to the western limits of Saginaw Township at the Tittabawassee River. Project purpose. Well, one thing that we want to do, want to make sure any alternatives we come up with can accommodate traffic volumes. That's very important. Also, one of the major things we want to do is enhance safety of the corridor. That's always a top priority of ours. Also, we want alternatives to accommodate all modes of transportation, not just vehicles, but pedestrians as well. In that, eliminate barriers to any bicycles or pedestrians throughout the corridor. And in the same vein, provide context-sensitive solutions. So, again, taking all modes into consideration with improvements. Also, come up with, ideas that support economic development within the corridor. We don't want to, recommend anything that's going to inhibit growth from businesses coming to town. Improve access management. So we're looking at driveways to businesses. Can we eliminate some? Focus them in on, one driveway per business as opposed to multiple. And then, also look at opportunities to beautify the corridor. So our expectations, obviously, we're brought on board to produce a report. And also with the project purpose in mind, which we just went over. Part of that is to, like I mentioned, existing conditions assessment. So we look at, what's going out there today. Look at improvement strategies or different type of design alternatives. With that, look at, with those alternatives, what are some short-term solutions and what are some longer-term solutions? Because we know, we don't have, endless funding, right? So we don't want to wait for that funding to come. What meaningful improvements can we make on the short term? And then with that, put together cost estimates for all solutions. So throughout the study period, we gathered a lot of input. We had 3 different stakeholder committee meetings. We had a public workshop. We also had what they call a mural board that we had online for everyone to access and provide comments to, which was really neat. We got a lot of good comments that way. But this is just, you can read these, but these are kind of the things that jumped out to us. Some of the top concerns were the high speeds through the corridor, lack of pedestrian and bicycle facilities. Kind of in the same topic, difficulty crossing M46. There's some wide areas of M46, and it's difficult to cross for pedestrians. And a couple comments on more of the aesthetics of the corridor. And some of the rated comments, highly rated comments, were as far as condition. Obviously, the road is in poor condition for the most part. the attractant, again, aesthetics, attractiveness of the corridor, and then the condition of the pedestrian and bike facilities. And some of the desired improvements, again, want to accommodate traffic not only for today, but in the future. So, support future growth. Again, accommodate all modes of transportation, enhance safety, and then get rid of one-way pairs, and then beautify the corridor. So one of the first things we do is, as I mentioned, is existing conditions assessment. So this is just I thought this was pretty telling. This shows traffic volumes for different segments of the corridor from 1970 through 2018. So it's kind of interesting, in 48 years, every one of those segments, traffic has decreased, which kind of surprised me. Now, it's not a steady decrease, it was up and down, but over that time period, in all those areas, traffic has decreased. Another part of the existing conditions assessment is looking at crash data. So this is what we call a heat map. So the darker the color is the higher concentration of higher density of crashes. So this is kind of looking at the west end of the study at M47 through Williams and Stevens, Michigan area. As you can see, the blue is kind of stands out there. Part of that has to do with, there's 4 signalized intersections in that area, plus you got the one-way pairs. That's where M46 turns. There's a lot going on in that little area, so that kind of makes sense that there's, some crash issues there. Here's the other half of the study corridor. Again, the darker areas are particularly at your signalized intersections, and it makes sense because if you think about it, that's where all your conflicting movements are, right? So we also looked at pedestrian and bicycle crashes through the corridor. Now, thankfully, I was pleasantly surprised that there wasn't a large number of crashes, but still, we looked at this, and there is one little area that kind of jumped out to us, and that was at Genesee and Gratiot and Genesee and Remington. No real pattern of what's going on there, but that's one area where, there was a group of crashes in that area, so. So looking at the recommended improvements, this top graph gives you a summary of kind of what we came up with. Starting off, it's maybe kind of difficult to see, but the blue is a proposed non-motorized path. Now, this is proposed throughout the study corridor. It would basically replace the sidewalk on one side, and then on the other side, you would have continuous sidewalk. The red circles are proposed roundabouts. Now, we only looked at, you can see at Center Road, M13, some of the intersections where there's a lot of right-of-way, because you would need a lot of right-of-way for roundabouts. The green is the conversion of a 4-lane highway to a 3-lane. So that 3-lane would be 1 lane in each direction plus a center left turn lane. And the pink color is the conversion of 1-way to 2-way. So as you can see, we're proposing converting the 2 Williams and Stevens from 1-way to 2-way, as well as Remington and Gratiot on the east side. So again, just kind of go over these quickly, but these improvements improve non-motorized facilities, it improves safety, it provides better connections for non-motorized travel. The 1-way to 2-way conversions reduce confusion, especially traveling east on M46 and taking that on to Stevens. It also, 1-way to 2-way naturally slows traffic because you're traveling closer to traffic going in the opposite direction. Repurposed travel lanes also improve safety. This is your, taking your 4 lanes to a 3-lane with a center left turn lane. It maintains mobility and also allows, narrowing that roadway allows for roadside enhancements. And another thing is, with these improvements, it provides exclusive left turn lanes throughout the corridor. So that's, in your 4-lane sections right now, somebody wants to turn left from that inside lane, that can cause backups and rear ends and all kinds of issues. So it improves safety, reduces delay, and also, especially at M46 and Wheeler Road, eliminates the cut-through. That's one of the big comments we got right at the beginning, was residents around that area are annoyed by all the cut-through traffic because there's no left turn lane in that area. So the next couple slides are just some snapshots of the report, some areas that, we propose these improvements. This is looking at the area of Brockway. So east of Brockway, that's the 4-lane section currently. We're proposing a 3-lane. You can see Stevens and Williams there. Those are obviously both one-ways now. We are proposing to convert those to 2-way and then provide more of a normal intersection for the trunk line. Here we're proposing M46 to use Stevens, so the south route, currently the eastbound route. And here's a look at further to the east at Rust and Sheridan, or Rust and Warren. This is where we proposed a roundabout, as well as converting the 2 one-ways to 2-way. So, I mentioned earlier, we want to maintain traffic flow with any of the improvements we make. So, in order for us to measure that, we use a level of service rating. So, level of service is just measurement of delay, essentially. So, A has the least amount of delay, F has the worst. So, we went through and looked at the existing level of service for all signalized intersections throughout the corridor. So, green, you rarely see this in an urban condition. You can't get much better than this as far as delay. So this is really good. The worst level of service up here is a level of service C. So your delay is very minimal traveling across this corridor. Looking at the level of service with our proposed improvements, you still see a really good level of service. The worst is a level of service D, which is at M46 and Wheeler Road. And part of that reason is we're adding a left turn lane there now. And we're providing a left turn phase at the signal to allow left turn traffic there. So, but still, a level of service D is acceptable. C and D is what we typically design around. That's the standard of practice when we design roadways. We can't design for level service A. We just don't have we can't do that. If we went out and rebuilt M46 today, we would not build it to the capacity it is. So this is still, like I said, with our recommended improvements, this is an excellent level of service. So just to kind of summarize this, we went through and just looked at travel times. How much time does it take to travel from one side of the corridor to the other? So just for instance, eastbound in the AM, which is more your peak traffic, peak flow is coming from the west, it takes 16 and a half minutes to travel from M47 through Outer Drive. The proposed condition is 18.3 minutes, so an additional 1.8 minutes for that whole corridor for those traveling that distance. So, and again, just go kind of across, the worst is 2.4 minute increase in the PM going westbound. So, but what that says is traffic is moving slower, but it's still maintaining an acceptable delay throughout the corridor. So with that, we still have a project website that people are welcome to go to and comment on. If you just type in M46 corridor study, it should be the first thing that pops up. And we also have obviously a QR code here if you want to scan that. And then, of course, if you have any questions, you can always contact Jay. His contact information is there. But I guess with that, we can open up for any questions.
Do we have any questions?
Yes.
Yes, Councilwoman.
Oh, thank you so much, Mayor. How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I have several questions, but I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum. My first question is, you said you had, on your information, you had 3 stakeholder meetings and 1 public workshop. Can you tell me when those were?
I don't have those dates in front of me, but we can certainly get them to you.
Was the community invited? How was the community invited?
For the study purposes, the stakeholders that we had were more or less the staff from those communities, just meeting to assemble some of the technical documents. And I believe our meeting was, again, we'll get the exact date, but I believe August. And we did distribute flyers through different locations just to get public feedback. But once again, it's so preliminary. When and if we do get funding, we'll still be back in the community. Because what we wanted to do with this was just see feasibility, what would be feasible at that point. So we'll be fleshing this a lot more and working with the public.
So you will be having more public workshops?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
They're the true stakeholders?
Yes, that's where we wanted to get some feedback and get more feedback and still leave this active so we could get comments. But again, this was just trying to figure out, now, do we want to replace this the way it stands right now? I don't think it's any surprising when the condition is a priority to get this improvements done. But do we need that cross-section, let's say on Rust, where it's 5 lanes and we can land at 747? You know, it's probably not the wish of the community. So we want to get into the community and find out what the desire is. And so we talk about context-sensitive solutions. What kind of design fits the community wills?
Okay. And you were saying something about less traffic, but we've had a decline in people in the city of Saginaw, so hence you definitely would have less traffic. So that, you know, that was just going to be like that.
Councilwoman Lamont, let me just ask
Okay.
another, no,
I
I'm
had
gonna
one
come
too.
back, I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions on this end? Councilman Ostache.
Thanks, Mayor. Great presentation, by the way, and it's kind of ironic that the timing of this comes to the city council because Manager Morales and I were talking about this. I'm very passionate about traffic calming, trying to get traffic slowed down, but it wasn't until recently, and you actually touched on it tonight in your presentation from another gentleman friend of mine that works in this area. So for the public watching, you can actually reduce the lanes of a street and you can increase the traffic throughput. You actually increase the density of the traffic. And as you showed tonight too, and which is some of the things I was just reading on his report, you really don't slow your time. It doesn't take any longer to get to where you're going. With that, that's what I talked to Manager Morales about. I said, well, that got my attention because where you're doing this is through business corridors and business districts. And so even some of the conversations like, you know, we talked about Washington Avenue with a lot of the development coming with downtown. So it's more of a comment, not a question. Just thank you for all this information. I'm glad the public is starting to hear this. And, you know, you don't need 5 lanes of traffic anymore because we don't have that population. So good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Council, I was gonna come back to you, Councilwoman Lamont.
Okay, thank you so much again. Can you explain to me, please, again, you may have touched it, and I think we've heard it before, in regards to changing Holland and Remington to 2 ways as opposed to the 1 ways that they have been for many, 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 many years? Can you,
Sure. Once again, we looked at the traffic volumes out there, and again, just preliminary to see what that could handle. And as a three-lane cross-section for two directions with a turning lane, it could handle the traffic for the M46, because we do what's called a diversion rate too, to see if that traffic changes as it goes through the neighborhoods. So as part of the study, I'm not sure if Dave mentioned it or not as well, we would propose keeping one of those bounds as M46, reconstructing the good portion and turning that back to the city, as a city, potential city roadway. That's more of a neighborhood, which would probably be Warren. So it would serve as a neighborhood road. It's just a process of, in a lot of areas, we've looked at the one-way pairs because they were in place to serve a higher volume, a higher speed, to move people back from jobs that are moving from the factory back out to the community. We don't have that any longer. So it's, what's the purpose of that roadway? What can we do with that? But it would function, from what we're seeing, as a two-way street with the traffic we expect on M46.
okay. And I will be utilizing your information to give you a call, but I do have one other, this is a comment you don't even have to answer. I hate roundabouts, but anyway, that's just me. Thank you.
Any other?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that Remington because there's a lot of trucks that come up and down those roads. You know, and a lot of people still going to work, it's still a work road. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people that work in this city and they use those roads to go home, you know, on those corridors, east and west. And I'm concerned if we turn that into a one-way, that we may have a lot of bog down, you know, especially during those business times.
Oh, you mean turning to a two-way street in Remington?
Yes.
Yeah. All we can do is we run that model to test from the volumes we have and the time of day it runs. Remington would still handle the truck traffic as well. I mean, that's the through route, do 75 back in, that you have truck routes on. From everything that's been on the report and what we've studied, should be able to handle that. And that's one of the reasons too, we looked at implementing the roundabouts, was to open up that flow of traffic a little bit more through those areas. I know, it's.
So you saying you're gonna get rid of one of the streets? You talking about getting rid of one of them, or what?
No, the streets would still be there.
Remington and Holland.
But the idea would be to turn those back to the city and be more local streets. It's low speed, 25 mile an hour.
Okay.
So they're just serving the residents. Your trucks, M46 is a national truck route.
Right.
So, I mean, it has to be built to a certain width. Lane widths have to be a certain width to accommodate those trucks. So that would still be there to serve the truck traffic. One thing else that I thought of when you asked that question is, I didn't explain it in my presentation, but when I showed that level of service, the delay, those were during the peak periods. So that's worst case scenario. So your AM peak is typically from 7 to 9 in the morning, and your PM peak traffic is usually 3 to 6, somewhere in there. And that's what we model, worst case conditions. So any other times of the day, things should move better than what we have shown in our model. So I just wanted to mention that.
I'm gonna ask another question too about roundabouts. How many accidents do you know, how many roundabouts? I mean, I know they're confusing. I haven't seen any accidents yet, but I know it's gotta be some happening.
So this is typical, right? So, the purpose of a roundabout is to slow speeds and to eliminate the right angle crashes, which are your most severe crashes. So we have a lot of data. I know MDOT has a lot of data to show before and after at a lot of the intersections where they put in roundabouts. And it's, there's data nationwide, but they reduce the severity of crashes. There's almost always an uptick of crashes when a roundabout is implemented, just because not everybody is familiar with how to drive them. Even though we're getting more and more, there's still those folks that are kind of intimidated by them, right? Are not quite sure how they work, but once people figure them out, the crashes go down. And like I said, the severity is the most important thing, and that's, goes way, way down. So that's what we've seen.
Keep in mind, this is, like you said, a preliminary, and they'll be back. And the community will have an opportunity to come in. Yes, Councilman Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. Just full transparency, it's at least my goal, and I think the goal of others on council, that we see our population grow in the future, that we don't kind of cede the fact that we have dipped to a certain population density. So keeping that in mind for your projections for additional traffic, we would like to be above, 50, 60, 70,000 people in the future. That's just a comment. For the portions for the crashes and fatalities that had to do with our traffic or roadways, was there any studies that were done similar to what the traffic timing would be about the reduction of possible reduction of accidents? Or was that just spotlighted, the accidents that we currently have from 2016 to 2022?
What we have is just current on there for those, just actual numbers. So the implementation from the plan for implementing, we didn't run the reduction for those. I mean, we'd get into that more detail when we have the final design, see where we're at with that.
Okay.
But I will say too, with addressing the concern with some of the growth, we apply growth factors still to the data when we collect it for the model. So we're not saying zero growth. I think we used 0.5%, but 0.5% is above what we're seeing in other places as well right now currently. So, and keep in mind too that I think we see some of our trends and peak time trends disperse a little bit more since COVID, keeping an eye on that as well. So we may not see the standard peak time that we talked about earlier, that morning and then the evening peak. So it's still that way flexibility. And to accommodate some of that growth as well, with the one-way pairs, we turn one back, there may not be the opportunity there, but where we have still the footprint in place, MDOT's still gonna maintain that, have a right-of-way through here. If we're fortunate enough to have substantial growth, we could still go back in and add lanes. It's, we still have the opportunity. We're not discharging any additional property.
All right, great, thank you.
Any other questions? Gentlemen, let me make sure. Gentlemen, we thank you so much for your presentation.
Yep. Thank you, and when we do have, we'll make sure we get information out when they do have public input sessions. Like he said, there isn't any funding to do this project at this point, so we'll wait on the state for that. But I will mention, also when we do our own road projects, we have public input meetings, and we do announce those. And if you walk by council chambers when we have those, it's usually Beth London sitting at a table by herself. So if you see that, please share that as well, because we do want to have the participation, but people aren't always interested in streets and road projects. So that concludes the management update.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Moore. Manager Morales, is there an update on the Sister City committee and what we have from city staff? A few weeks ago, I'd asked for city staff to look into that. Is there any update on that?
I'm sorry, a Sister City committee?
Any update on the Sister City request that I made a couple meetings ago? Is there any update on that and the possibility of formation of that?
Yeah, we're ready to set something up, so we'll, whenever council members whatever council members want to participate, just contact me and let me know what, you can have anything below a quorum to work on each city, so let me know if you're interested and which one you're interested in, and we can go from there. Yeah, I think that will be good to increase activity with the sister cities, and particularly, like I mentioned, if we have one in Ontario, that will be a good opportunity for doing a number of things, educational exchanges, public safety, just general government even, so that we'd like to have those become more active.
Thank you. That is all, Mayor Moore.
Yes.
I'm sorry, did you say contact you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk.
Mayor, we are now at the consent agenda.
The consent agenda has been available at City Hall and on the city's webpage and on SGTV Channel 191. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, leaving room for exceptions.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Do we have any exceptions?
Yes. 12. 9. And 8. And 13.
I'm sorry, which one?
13.
13. Do we have any more? Call for the vote without the exceptions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Item number 8, approve the home grant agreement for $528,208 from the Department of Housing and Urban Development for the Home Investment Partnership Program for fiscal year 2024. Councilmember Balls.
If I may, I want to kind of tie all these together and ask, are we planning on building any houses in the city of Saginaw with any of these monies that we got coming in? Is anybody, the grant recipients, talking about building the houses, or just keeping up the ones they got? I mean, because I understand that we do have a housing shortage in the city of Saginaw. I do understand that there is grant money out there available to build houses, and we haven't been doing any of that in the city of Saginaw.
That would be under my area. So there has been some discussion. A lot of this money goes to basic needs and full rehabilitation of homes. There has been some discussion about building homes through our Home ARP program, which will be coming to you soon. But there's always ongoing conversations about the rehab. We will be seeing more with the Home ARP.
Do they have any specific areas that they're talking about building any homes in that you think?
We do not have a specific area at this time.
Okay. I'm just saying, because I know there's a lot of areas that we built, putting trees on them, we ain't putting no houses on them, and I know that we need some houses.
Right, and we understand that. The master plan outlined that we had a housing study completed through our master plan, saying that we had a lot of housing, but it wasn't high-quality housing. So through this program, what you're going to see is basic need repairs as well as full rehabilitation. You'll see later on with the Home ARP program, like more of a building of houses.
And when is that report gonna come?
The Human Planning Commission just met to vote on the disbursement of funds, so that will be coming sometime in September.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we approve 8, 9, 12, and 13. I think those are the ones that I pulled out.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, our next order of business is boards, commission, and committee reports.
Do we have any board or commission reports? Madam Clerk.
We are at appointment of board, commission, committee members.
I need a motion to approve items 1 and 2, leaving room for exceptions.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
We are at ordinance introduction. We do have one. It's to amend the official city map to vacate a portion of an alley running northwesterly to southeasterly through William Gallagher subdivision of Lot 11 in Block 9 of Gallagher's plat of Salina.
I need a motion to introduce.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. This will be laid over under the ordinance. It'll be laid over.
Mayor, we are now at resolutions. Our first one is to approve the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund Grant Declaration and notice for the Saginaw Riverwalk Iron Bell Trail through Wicks Park improvements.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
Our second resolution is authorize the submission of the Michigan Community Center's grant application.
I need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Madam Clerk.
You're at miscellaneous business, Mayor.
Do we have any other motions? And before you all gather up your stuff and move too fast, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Everybody have a good holiday.